Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. So as I've mentioned in a previous video, I was gifted the entire Shatter Me book series by my partner for our anniversary, and I thought it'd be fun to kind of do a little reading vlog to see how I find the series, because I've heard lots of raved reviews about it. In case you don't know about the Shatter Me series, it originally started as a trilogy, which was Shatter Me, Unravel Me and Ignite Me. But it was so popular that she then added another 3 books, which are Defy Me, Restore Me and Imagine Me, and also 3 novellas. But these novellas actually contain 2 novellas in them. So there's technically, well, these 2 have another 2 novellas, and this one is just 1 novella. And these novellas are from other points of view of the characters and slot in between the original books. So there are technically 6 books in the series and 5 novellas. So it's a pretty big series and I have managed to read them in a month. So before I started this reading vlog, I had already read Shatter Me and Unravel Me. I had heard a lot of things about this book series and a lot of people had said that Shatter Me wasn't the best book. And to be fair, I did agree. I rated Shatter Me 3 stars. It was very interesting, but it seemed mainly to be a book that was kind of setting the scene for the rest of the series. I don't think the writing was the best in this one, but it definitely got better throughout the series. After Shatter Me is the first novella in Unite Me, which is Destroy Me. I also rated this 3 stars. I really enjoyed getting a different point of view. But the main thing I really liked about this is being able to see what Juliet wrote in her notebook. Then I started Unravel Me, and this is where I really began to start enjoying the series. I rated Unravel Me 4 stars and it made me really intrigued to carry on with the series. You learn a lot more about the characters in this book, and it's just, it just really set it off really well, and I was so excited to carry on. After Unravel Me is the second novella in Unite Me, which is called Fracture Me, and I rated this 3 stars. This was probably one of my least favourite novellas, just because I felt like it repeated a lot of the events in Unravel Me, and it didn't really add that much to the story, even though it was from a different character's point of view. I liked that it was from Adam's point of view, but I would have preferred it to be a different set of events rather than literally the same text that we had already read in Unravel Me. So that kind of brings us up to date with where this reading vlog starts. I hope you enjoy it, and yeah. Ignore the absolute state of me, but I have finished Ignite Me. This book, I think I'm going to give it 4.5 stars. It's definitely the best book in the series so far. It's crazy to me that she originally finished it at this book, like it was originally a trilogy, but the fans loved it so much that she's added more to it, and I can definitely see why. Like, I'm definitely still wanting more. Hello, Barney. I'm dog sitting today for this one, and he's just being adorable. This had quite a bit more romance in it, and actually I'm not mad at it. It was definitely a lot more intriguing than other romances I've read. Although honestly, Adam annoyed me so much in this book. I hope that he's not as annoying in the rest of the series, because he infuriated me and I liked him before. Also, Kenji is just the best character. Like, he's just the best. He's so funny, he's so real, and I'm just obsessed with him. I feel like I should probably pick something else on my TBR, but I kind of just want to pick up the next book in this series. Barney, you just love getting in the way, don't you? Am I interrupting your sleep? Honestly, look how cute he is. Me. These books are just so easy to read as well. Like, I feel like when I was reading Divergent, I'd always want a different book in between reading each of the books, just because they're a bit more heavy. They're not necessarily like difficult to read, but I just find this one so easy. Like, it doesn't even feel like a fantasy because it's so easy to read. So rather than having a book in between, I kind of just want to smash this entire series out, and I'm very tempted to. I'm going away in less than a week, and I just don't know, well, I don't think I'm going to be able to finish the series before then, but then I don't want to take loads of books with me up to Liverpool, so don't know what I'm going to do about that, but I'm just so excited to carry on with the series. I think I might need to go and get the next book and start it now. Apparently Barney wasn't impressed with me doing my book review because he's gone to go to sleep there, so... Hey everyone, so it has been a while. I've not really had the chance to actually film kind of my updates and what I've been thinking and feeling about the series, just because I've been quite busy for once in my life. So I thought I'd do a quick update on where I am, what books I've read in the series, and how I've kind of been feeling about them. So I'm currently away visiting family at the minute, and literally right before my coach, I finally finished Restore Me. Restore Me was really interesting because I had seen a lot of people say that they literally couldn't put it down, and I didn't have that same experience, but I still really enjoyed it. I think it actually took me a couple of days to finish, but as I was nearing the end, I was just absolutely gobsmacked. One thing I did really like in Restore Me is like the kind of character development between Warner and Kenji when they actually started talking about their issues rather than just hating each other. I did really like that. But that ending, oh my god, I don't think I've ever been so shocked by an ending in a book before. I was so annoyed that I had finished it right before needing to get the coach because I just wanted to open the next book right then and there. So I'll quickly get on my Goodreads to see what I actually ended up rating it. So I rated Restore Me 4 stars, which I think most of it is mainly because of that ending. I think the jump from Ignite Me to Restore Me was huge. And I still think Ignite Me, I still prefer Ignite Me, but Restore Me was just so baffling towards the end that I literally just needed to read the rest of the series as soon as possible. So I wasn't really sure how much time I'd get to read whilst I'm away, but I took 3 of the books with me. So I took Defy Me, I took Find Me, which has the 2 novellas in, and I took Imagine Me. I've currently read these. After I finished Restore Me, I read Shatter Me, which is the first novella in Find Me, and I read this just at a stop in between my coaches. It's only something like 70 odd pages, so it didn't take me long at all. And one thing I absolutely loved about this novella is that it's from Kenji's point of view. I absolutely love Kenji. He is my favourite character, and if anything happens to him, I'm going to be absolutely gutted. I rated Shadow Me 4 stars. I really liked seeing things from Kenji's point of view, especially because he kind of puts on this brave front in front of everyone else. So actually being able to read from his point of view gave a lot of insight into his character, but I just don't think it really added much to the storyline. So after Shadow Me, I read Defy Me, and this book, it's up there with Ignite Me. I really enjoyed this one. You find out a lot about Juliet in this book, and it is just so intriguing. And I can't believe that she originally was going to finish the series on Ignite Me, because this has added so much depth to so many of the characters, but especially Juliet. This also got really dark in this book, which I personally like, but so much happened, and as I was reading, I was just thinking, oh my god, like, these characters are going through so much. I don't know what book it started in, but I also love that this book has different POVs rather than just Juliet. It also has the POVs of Warner and Kenji. It was really strange though, because this book was really dark, but the ending was just so wholesome. It made me feel so happy. I actually kind of regret reading Reveal Me, the second novella in Find Me, straight after Defy Me, because the ending of Defy Me had me in such a good mood, and then I read this and I was like, oh, that ended very quickly. So I read Reveal Me quickly after, and this is also in Kenji's point of view. This honestly made me want to just give Kenji the biggest hug. Even though this is a novella, I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed Kenji's point of view again, and just seeing the things going through his mind, it makes you think that, you know, in a story, it's not just the main characters that are going through something. And I'm so glad that in this novella, Kenji stands up for what he believes in. And also the ending of this, even though it's a novella, the ending is so gripping. It's made me want to just pick up the next book really quickly. But since I'm away, I've had to not be reading constantly, but it's been really nice. But yep, that's where I'm at with this series so far. I have got Imagine Me with me. I can't imagine that I'm going to finish this before I get back, because it's almost 500 pages. Plus I did take a quick break from the Shatter Me series to read The Housemaid is Watching, because that was my most anticipated book of 2024 and I just needed to read it as soon as it came out. So yeah, this is the next book in the series for me to read, so I'm going to continue reading this, and then I've only got the Believe Me novella after, and then it's done, which is really sad, but I am really excited to see how this ends. So yeah, that's a little update on where I am with the series, and I'll keep you updated as I carry on with it. I just realised that in that last clip I never actually gave my full views on Imagine Me. This book is almost 450 pages, I think, and I literally sat and finished this in one evening because I was so intrigued. I literally could not put this book down. I rated this book 4 stars and absolutely loved it. The only thing that kind of let me down with it was the epilogue. I just feel like the epilogue was a bit of a stereotypical fairy tale ending, and I would have liked to have seen more about them trying to rebuild society after the events of the previous books. I'm actually looking at my Goodreads review of this book and I said maybe I'll get more of that in the last novella. I was not prepared to be disappointed. But a lot happened in this book, and I just love reading about, you know, the kind of corruption of society and how people overthrow those in power, and this included a lot of that, so I really enjoyed that. And then only on to the last book in the series, which is the novella Believe Me. So I didn't film me reading the last novella in the series, which is Believe Me, because I read it in the bath and that would be a bit weird. Now, I was really excited to read this because obviously it's the last book in the series, but I was actually really disappointed, which is sad to say. I actually rated this the lowest out of all of the books and rated it 2.5 stars. I know that's a bit strange because a lot of people really enjoyed this novella. I noticed that Haley Fan rated it 4.5 stars, but I just was not a fan of it. This novella takes place pretty much straight after the events of Imagine Me, and they've just had this massive war happen and they're planning a wedding, which I just think is super unrealistic. I feel like through a lot of this novella, Warner is just so annoyed that things aren't happening his way, and it just frustrated me. Like, you've literally just gone through a war. Why on earth are you so focused on a wedding right now? I know a lot of people find it really cute and love the romance in this, but I've not really been a massive fan of their relationship throughout the book series anyway, so I think that might be contributing to why I didn't enjoy this novella as much. But it's just the fact that it was so unrealistic that I wasn't really a fan. I just found the romance a bit cringe. I'm not the biggest fan of romance anyway, and this was just too romance heavy rather than going into like the difficulties of what life is like after a war. I would have preferred to have seen it from that perspective rather than just the everything's sunshine and rainbows happy ending that we actually got. I know that's a bit of an unpopular opinion, but that's just how I feel about it. Overall though, I am so glad that I read this series. I managed to read the entire series in a month, which is crazy to me because I've read other books in between as well. They were so easy to read, and even though I'm not the biggest fantasy or romance fan, I really enjoyed the series. It is YA, so the text is nice and big, and yeah, it's just really easy to read and follow on. Kenji is by far my favourite character. I absolutely loved him, and I would have loved to have seen even more from him. There were definitely books for me that were stronger than others, so I really enjoyed Defy Me and Restore Me, and I actually think Ignite Me might have been my favourite out of all of them. I think the Find Me novellas were my favourite, mainly because it was from Kenji's point of view and I love him. I just feel like these added so much depth to his character. So those are my thoughts on the Shatter Me series. If you have read this series, then let me know in the comments what you think. But yeah, I would definitely recommend this series, especially if you do love fantasy, but also if you're not the biggest fan, I recommend you still give it a go because it is YA fantasy, it's a bit easier to read, and although I'm not the biggest fan of fantasy, I still really enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you later.